Hi, and welcome to Juice Pouch Players. Today we'll be rating the game Get Gnomed. Get Gnomed is a fantastic game where you get to play as a garden gnome against all of your friends, competing to find their hidden lawn ornaments. It is an absolute blast. But before I say anything else, be sure to check out our rules video, which will be coming out next week, and definitely be sure to check out this game on Kickstarter. So this game is incredibly transportable. I would say it's not like super small, but if you have, a backpack and you're going on a road trip, you want a game or two to bring with you, this is definitely a great option to bring on the pack that could fit in just about any backpack, any suitcase, perfect for a board game night with friends.
So how long does it take to play? It takes about 15 minutes for every player that you have. So 2 players would be half an hour, 3 players would be 45 minutes, and 4 players would be an hour.
In terms of setup time, this game does have a few components. First off, every single individual player does have their own map that has to be positioned and centered. No matter the orientation, the map will fit, but then it also does require every player to also hide all of their pieces. And so I would say this game would take maybe 5 minutes of setup, maybe longer if your group tends to play with a little bit more strategy.
How easy is it to pick up? I'd say it's pretty easy. The cards have very explicit instructions on what to do when you get them, and the spaces that make you draw cards are very clearly labeled. So I'd say it's pretty easy to pick up.
I would say as long as the child can read, or at the very least can recognize numbers, this game is young kid playable. The only thing that would be potentially a little bit harder is making sure that they can read all the numbers to understand the abilities on all of the clothing cards. Some of the abilities on the gnome cards or the nature cards would require a little bit of reading involved. So this is a game that I would say for maybe ages 7, 8 and up, but definitely playable by kids. This is a perfect game for elementary schoolers and up.
Is it grandma playable? I would say not really. The font is pretty small, and you need to be able to read all of the words on the card in order to get either the full benefits or know when you're actually allowed to use the card and stuff like that.
Get Gnomed can be played with up to 4 people. Each player gets to pick their own team. So each team has their own mascot between flamingos, turtles, bears, and owls. And all of those can be seen in their lawn ornaments, which is especially cute. This also does have a 1-player version. So there are versions of the game that can work for 1 to 4 players. So if you want to play by yourself, you totally can.
Can you play with a team and still have fun? Yes, I would say so, because there's definitely some strategy in terms of what cards that you decide to put down and stuff like that. Also, playing in a team would help make it easier for grandma and maybe some younger kids to play, because that way they're still involved, but they don't necessarily have to be able to read the cards.
The amount of critical thinking involved definitely depends on the person, especially because with the amount of clothes you can dress your gnome up in and the different types of clothes, you can really play into strategy as much as you want to try to gain as many abilities as you want, whether it's walking on water or getting the golden mushroom. This and figuring out where everybody else's lawn ornaments are hidden beneath the mushrooms on the board. It's the sort of game where you can go in with no strategy, just moving around and attacking your friends, and that could totally work for you. I tend to play with a little bit more strategy, and this is a game that is kind of well suited for either, which is really nice.
Do you need a practice round? I would say no. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just move based off your movement, and then wherever your gnomes land, that's what you choose to do. So you don't really need a practice round.
There are no outside supplies needed. The game box actually comes with a whole bunch of different sections for all of the cards and all of the different components, and it even has some bags to keep the smaller pieces in as well.
I would give it a 5 out of 5 pouches. It is such an amazing game. I love the theming. I love the fact that you get to dress up your gnome as you play, and how there's like some dressing cards that like negatively affect, and then there's also some of the pink cards affects everybody at the table, so not just you, and some of those are actually very helpful for a lot of people. So it's super fun game. You should 100% back it on Kickstarter. So yeah.
I would give this game 4.5 out of 5 pouches. I absolutely adored this when we went to Gen Con. I loved that it's a combination of a map builder where you get to dress your gnome, as well as an actual board where you're chasing and hunting your friends and trying to deduce where they might have placed all of their different pieces. It's just an absolute blast to play. I really adored it, and the design is just so cute as well. This is definitely a game that I was very happy to have found. Here at Juice Pouch Players, we were lucky enough to get a proof copy of the game Get Gnomed, but if you'd like a copy of your own, be sure to back it on Kickstarter. That link can be found in the description below.
Thanks for watching, and we will sip you later.